OSC on countdown.
Copy, go ahead.
OSC, at this time, do we have concurrence that we've properly enforced the public risk clearance criteria set in our procedures and that our FAA license is intact?
Affirmative to both. I have checked in with...
Good afternoon. You're looking at SpaceX's Starship suborbital test vehicle number 15, countdown to flight in just under 5 minutes. It was almost 5 weeks ago. We launched Starship 11 on a test flight from the adjacent Pad B. Today's flight is from Pad A. Our demonstration objective again is with the last 4 flights. Slowly climb to 10-kilometer altitude, which will take about 4 minutes, turning off engines on the way up as we burn off propellant mass. Once we reach 10 kilometers altitude, we will begin the horizontal descent back to the landing zone adjacent to the launch pad. If all goes well, we'll light 3 engines to flip the stage back to vertical and eventually land on a single engine. This flight includes multiple upgrades and improvements to address the findings from the rapid unplanned disassembly we experienced on the last flight. This vehicle also incorporates changes that get us closer to the orbital configuration planned for flight later. T-minus 2 minutes, we continue to count down for Starship 15 flight. Propellant load is complete in the liquid oxygen system on the Starship. Methane fuel load is also complete on the Starship. T-minus 1 minute. All systems remain go for the flight of Starship 15. We're getting ready to disconnect the quick disconnect from the vehicle in preparation for flight. T plus 30 seconds, Starship 15 is airborne as we get a view of the 3 Raptor engines as we're powering our way to 10 kilometers altitude in today's test flight. Just past 1 minute into flight, we're through 2 kilometers altitude. All 3 Raptor engines continuing to burn. Next major event, about 1 minute, is we will turn off the first of the 3 Raptor engines. Coming up at T plus 2 minutes, we appear to have frozen the view from the engine cameras. However, the Raptor engine's continuing to perform, and we've got shutdown on engine 3 on time. T plus 2 minutes 40 seconds. While we're trying to regain video from the vehicle, we continue to ascend. We have just passed the 8-kilometer point in flight. Everything continues to look good on Starship 15. Coming up on 3.5 minutes into flight, we're approaching the 10-kilometer altitude. We'll begin to hover here. We've had engine number 2 shut down on time. We'll now be moving into the hover with 1 engine. And then in a little bit, we will begin the flip over to horizontal position and begin our descent. Or hopefully a ground camera will be able to bring us live views of the flight. Just past T plus 4 minutes into flight, we've got the views back from the Raptor engines. We get T plus 4 minutes 34 seconds. While we're working to regain video, it looks like we've got a shot looking back at the flaps on Starship. We're in the horizontal descent phase now. We're passing 6 kilometers. Now, a reminder, phase that's coming up as we get ready for landing, we will light 3 Raptor engines, flip the vehicle from horizontal to vertical. If things look good, we will shut down 1 Raptor engine and then possibly a second one and land on a single engine in the landing zone. 5 minutes into flight, Raptor continuing to descend. We're coming up on 3 kilometers altitude. have ignition. Starship heading back to the landing zone. And Starbase Flight Control has confirmed, as you can see on the live video, we are down. The Starship has landed. We're going through the safing sequence in the flight computer right now. We'll be back in a moment. Well, if you've just joined us, you missed a great flight. Right now we have successfully landed in the landing zone, right on the concrete. You can see we do have a small fire at the base of the vehicle, not unusual with the methane fuel that we're carrying as we continue to work on the test vehicle design. You may be able to see water going on the pad from the water cannons. But again, Starship 15 powered by 3 Raptor engines. We have successfully launched it from our facility in South Texas, landed after a routine flight where we shut engines down on the way to 10 kilometers, executed the horizontal unpowered descent, and then we got some great views of the engines lighting up as we came down for a landing at a nice slow velocity onto the concrete landing pad. The past 2 weeks have been full of accomplishments by the SpaceX team. We've had the incredible launch of the Crew 2 astronauts on the Crew Dragon Resilience. We've had the first nighttime landing and recovery of the 4 astronauts on Crew Dragon Endeavor's flight last Saturday night, and 2 successful flights of Falcon 9 in the past 7 days, each carrying 60 Starlink satellites successfully into orbit. And now the SpaceX Texas team has flown a test flight of Starship with a landing back in the landing zone here in Starbase, Texas. Also like to remember, this is the 60th anniversary of the first American in space, astronaut Alan Shepard and his Mercury capsule. And SpaceX has landed Starship successfully on this date. Again, an outstanding period as we work to enable the future of human spaceflight and expansion into the solar system. And with that, we're going to conclude today's webcast with the views here of Starship 15. Thank you for joining us here at SpaceX, and have a good day.